Hello students, this is our last lecture for chapter number 2. Let us start with topic number 2.14, combination of capacitors. Now students, you already know about the combination of resistors which you have studied in 10th standard. We know that if there are two resistors connected in this way between points A and B, then the total resistance of these two resistance R1 and R2 is given by R is equal to R1 plus R2. Here these resistors are connected in series, and so this is the formula for their equivalent or total resistance. Also, you have studied about the parallel combination. You have studied that if the two resistors are connected in this way between points A and B, then the total resistance of this combination of R1 and R2 is given by 1 upon R is equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2. So this is the formula for the equivalent resistance in case of parallel connection or parallel combination. So even capacitors can be combined in series or parallel combination. Let us first see about the series combination of capacitors. You can see here there is a figure in which two capacitors, they are connected in series across points A and B. First capacitor is having capacitance C1 and the second capacitor is having its capacitance C2. Now when these 2 points A and B are connected with a battery of voltage V, then what happens? Towards the positive side, this capacitor on left hand side, its plates becomes positively charged, and on the right hand side for this capacitor C2, these plates become negatively charged. Now we know that if this is positively charged plate, then equally this will be negatively charged. Same thing for this capacitor also. Now students, one thing is to remember here, when the capacitors are connected in series, the charge on each capacitor is same. That is, for this capacitor the charge is Q, so for this capacitor is also charge will be Q only. But here, as the capacitance is different, the potential difference between each capacitor will be different. So I have named this potential for first capacitor as V1 and for second capacitor as V2. Charge remains same, so Q is same. Now we know that this potential difference V1 and V2 is divided from the potential difference of the battery or the two terminals of the battery, and so if we will add this V1 and V2, then we will get total potential obtained from the battery. And so we will start our mathematical step from there only. So you can see here V is equal to V1 plus V2. Potential of the battery is divided into two capacitors. But we know that from the formula of capacitor, C is equal to Q by V, and therefore V is equal to Q by C. And so here also V1 is equal to Q by C1 and V2 is equal to Q by C2. Q is same for both the capacitors, so it is as it is. Now as Q is common in both this term, we can take it out, and so after taking it out we get this step: Q is equal to, in bracket, 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2. Now here there is V. If we will bring this Q towards left side, then we get V by Q is equal to 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2. Let us give this equation number 1. Now if we consider the total capacitance of these two capacitors, suppose now these two capacitors combine to form a one capacitor only, then in that case what is total capacitance C? That is total charge upon total voltage, because these two capacitors now they were imagined to be combined as one capacitor, and so here V is the potential of a battery, C is an equivalent capacitor after combination, charge is same only. In that case we can write the formula of the capacitor: C is equal to Q by V, and therefore V by Q, taking inverse of this, V by Q will become 1 by C. From this equation you will easily get it. Now give this equation number 2. Comparing these two equations 1 and 2, we can say that as here on left side it is V by Q, here also on left side V by Q, on right side here it is 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2, and here it is 1 upon C. So comparing, finally we get 1 upon C is equal to 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2. So when the capacitors are connected in series, the equivalent or the total capacitance is given by this formula. Addition of inverse of each capacitor is equal to inverse of the equivalent capacitor. Students, once again you have to remember this thing, that when the capacitors are connected in series, the charge on each capacitor remains same, and so what will be the total charge? So don't think that total charge is Q plus Q, that is 2Q. Even the total charge of the capacitor will be Q only. Students, here two capacitors are shown connected in series, but if more than two capacitors are connected in series, then also the formula will be similar. That is, suppose if there are n capacitors connected in series, then for n number of capacitor also the formula is given in the similar way. Next is about the parallel combination of capacitors. Here, parallel combination of two capacitors are shown. You can see that these two plates on the left side, they were connected by a common point A, and towards the right hand side also the two plates were connected with point B, and these common points A and B, they are connected with positive and the other two negative. So if this type of combination is there, then we can say that it is a parallel combination of capacitors. Now remember students, each capacitor will get same potential, as this first capacitor is directly connected with point A and point B, and so it will get the same voltage as that of the voltage or the potential difference of the battery. Similarly, for this second capacitor also, it is connected with A and B directly, so even this capacitor will get the same voltage as that of the battery. So I have shown here that V for both the capacitor is same, but here, as the capacitance of both the capacitor are different, the charge on each capacitor will be different, and so here we have taken Q1 for first capacitor and charge Q2 for second capacitor. Now let us see the mathematical step. Here Q is different. For first capacitor it is Q1, for second capacitor it is Q2, and so the total charge Q for this combination is given by Q1 plus Q2. So we will start with this equation, and now we know that from the formula of capacitor it is C is equal to Q by V, and therefore Q is equal to C into V. So here Q1 is equal to C1 into V and Q2 is equal to C2 into V. V is same, and that's why we have not taken V1 and V2 as in earlier case for series combination. Taking out V common, we get C1 plus C2 in bracket. Now in next step, we will bring this V towards left side, so we will get Q by V is equal to C1 plus C2. Let us give this equation number 1, and now if this C is the total capacitance or the effective capacitance, or we can say equivalent capacitance, then C is equal to Q by V. Here also it is Q by V, and here also it is Q by V. So we can compare equation 1 and equation 2, and finally we can say that C is equal to C1 plus C2. What is C here? It is effective capacitance or equivalent capacitance. When these two capacitors are considered as one, then the capacitance is considered as C. So student, we got the equation for parallel combination of two capacitors. In general, if there are n capacitors connected in parallel, then also the formula is similar. Simply addition of each capacitor will give you the total capacitance. Now an important example number 2.9. Here there are 4 capacitors. They are connected in mixed combination. Here you can see that these 3 capacitors C1, C2 and C3, they are along one path only. So these 3 are in series. But this 4th capacitor is in parallel with these 3. If we consider these 3 as a one capacitor, then 4 is in parallel with that. These points A and B are connected with a battery of voltage V, whose value is 500 volt. And here the value of each capacitance is 10 microfarad. Even the value of C4 is also 10 microfarad. What we want to find here? We want to find here the equivalent capacitance of these 4 capacitors, as well as we want to find the charge on each capacitors. So now students, first we will start with this, that as C1, C2 and C3, they are connected in series, then we can use the formula 1 upon C123, that is combination of 3 capacitors which are in series. So I have written this combination as C123, and we know that when they are in series, the formula is inverse addition of each capacitor. So 1 upon C123 is equal to 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2 plus 1 upon C3. Value of each capacitor is 10 microfarad. So I have taken these values. 1 by 10 plus 1 by 10 plus 1 by 10 will give you 3 by 10. But what is the unit? Microfarad. So finally, taking inverse of this, because this value is 1 upon C123 and we obtain this as 3 by 10. So taking that invertendo or considering inverse, we get C123 is equal to 10 by 3 microfarad. Students, I have also given an equivalent figure of this given figure. Here, as these 3 capacitors are in series, I have given an equivalent figure of this given figure as like this. This will look a simple figure. You can see these 3 are in series and this 3 along with capacitor 4 is in parallel. Now we obtained C123, that is combination of the 3 capacitor in series. Now this C123 and C4 are in parallel. You can see the equivalent figure. This C123, now it is considered as one capacitor, so it is in parallel with C4, and when the two capacitors are in parallel, we get the equivalent capacitor as simply addition of both that capacitors. Value of C123 is already obtained, that is 10 by 3, and C4 is 10. Adding these two, you will get the total capacitance or the equivalent capacitance of all the 4 capacitors as 40 by 3 microfarad. Students, whenever you put these values, every time no need to put the units along with it, but in final answer it is compulsory to put the unit. Now if you will divide 40 by 3, then you will get 13.3. So both the answers are valid. Now let us find the total charge of this combination. Q is equal to CV, because we have the formula for capacitor as C is equal to Q by V. So we can make this subject, we'll get Q is equal to CV. Here Q is total charge of the combination of 4 capacitor. So even C will be the equivalent capacitance of that 4 capacitor, and that value is obtained as 13.3 microfarad. So for micro it is 10 raised to minus 6, and V, potential difference applied, is 500. After calculation you will get Q is equal to 6.65 into 10 raised to minus 3 coulomb. Well, calculation is quite simple, so I'll not go in deep for such type of simple calculations. Actually this total charge is not asked, but still we have obtained here, because in sometimes the statement may ask to find this Q also. Now actually we want to find the charge on each capacitor. So first we'll find the charge on fourth capacitor. For that, let us see this figure. As the fourth capacitor is directly connected with the battery, you can see here, so voltage or the potential difference across this capacitor will be same as V. The value of capacitor is also known, and so we can easily find the charge on that fourth capacitor by using the formula Q is equal to CV. So here I have written this Q is equal to CV, but charge on the fourth capacitor, so capacitance is also of that fourth capacitor. Each capacitor has the value 10 microfarad, so even C4 has this value, so 10 micro means 10 raised to minus 6, and V is 500. After calculation we will get the charge on the fourth capacitor, which is equal to 5 into 10 raised to minus 3 coulomb. Now to find the charge on that capacitors which are in series. So as I told earlier, that if the capacitors are in series, then the charge on this capacitor will be equal to that on second capacitor, will be equal to that on third capacitor, and even the total charge will also be same only. Now if we consider the total charge of the capacitor as Q1, 2, 3, then this capacitor is connected directly with the battery only. You can see these 2 points are connected directly with the battery, so voltage will be same, that is 500. And what is the total capacitance of these three combination, that is C1, 2, 3, that also we have obtained. So once again using that similar formula, that Q is equal to C into V, we get this Q123 is equal to C123 into V. But what is C123? It is 10 by 3 micro coulomb. So we have used 10 raised to minus 6 for micro. V is 500. After calculation we will get this as 1.67 into 10 raised to minus 3 coulomb. But if we will remove this digit, then we can increase this digit by 1. So rounding off this last digit, the final answer is 1.7 into 10 raised to minus 3 coulomb. And so the charge on this Q123 is this much, that is equal to Q1, that is equal to Q2, that is equal to Q3. So students, I hope you understood this example. Now let us move to next topic. Now our next topic is about energy stored in a capacitor. Students, capacitor stores the energy in the form of electric field E. Always remember, energy is stored in the form of electric field, and this electric field is always between the two plates of a charged capacitor. So now we will see the process of obtaining the formula for this energy stored in a capacitor. Now students, to understand how this potential energy is stored in a capacitor, consider the two plates made up of good conductor, that means conducting plates parallel to each other. So we can say that now this is a capacitor, but this capacitor is not charged. To charge this capacitor, we have to put the positive charge on one plate and negative charge on the other plate. Now for this, what we'll do, from this plate which is neutral, we'll bring a positive charge from this plate, that is from second plate to first plate. So what will happen here, the positive charge will be there now, but as one positive charge is brought here, there will be one negative charge here, because we know that this plate is made up of atoms or the molecules, and every atom or molecule is neutral, because if there is a positive charge, then there is equal negative charge present in a molecule. So if one positive charge is removed, then what remains? A negative charge is remained. So now as one charge is brought here, no work is required for this process, so work done for that is 0. Now you will think that why the work done is 0 here. It is because between these two plates there is no electric field present at that point. If the electric field is there, then only work is required to be done for moving any charge particle. But now as this first positive charge is here and a negative charge is here, so there develops an electric field between the two plates from positive to negative. Now if I want to move one another positive charge from this second plate to first plate, what I have to do? I have to do some work, because now this charge particle is moved in this electric field which is developed due to this configuration of positive and negative charge. So now work is required to bring next positive charge. Again, if I'll go on now putting the positive charge from second plate to first plate, the electric field become more and more strong between the two plates, and so work will require more and more. And so if I go on doing such process, after some time I can say that a strong electric field is developed between these two plates, and so the energy is stored in this capacitor. So here in this figure also you can see the total charge to be deposited on the capacitor is Q, and so the electric field finally which is developed between the two plates is E. To bring this situation, we will start with this process given in figure A. Suppose during the process of deposition of this charge from this second plate to first plate, at some instant the charge on this plate is Q dash, and so the charge on this plate will be minus Q dash. This is intermediate situation. Now at this situation there will be some electric field E, and as the charges are present here, there is some potential, let it is V dash, that is intermediate potential during the process. Now if I want to move a small charge again in this potential, then I need to do the work. So now this charge is moving from plate number 2 to plate number 1. So this much charge is again subtracted from this. Are you getting or not? This charge is moving from here to here. So this much charge is now subtracted from this. And so on, the process will go on. And as this much charge, that is delta Q, is moving in this potential V, so we know that potential V into charge, this is small charge delta Q, is nothing but the small work done delta W. Here this symbol is for delta. Generally we use dq, like dq for small charge, dw for small work done, but here the symbol used is this. If you will use this type of symbol for small charge, then also it is okay. Now let us start the formula or the mathematical step, that the small work done is that intermediate potential into motion of this charge from the second plate to the first plate. So potential into charge is work done. This already we have seen in the earlier topic. Either we say work or potential energy U, meaning is same, because this work done will be stored in the form of potential energy. So now for small charge the work done is obtained. We already know from the formula of capacitance that C is equal to Q by V, but here the intermediate situation is taken, so C is equal to Q dash upon V dash. Now you will ask the question, why here this C dash is not taken for intermediate situation? Students, always remember, if there are two plates kept parallel to each other, and if it has a capacitance C, then if I'll store some charge on these plates, then also capacitance will remain same. It does not depend on the charge deposited or any other factor. It only depends upon the physical dimensions of the capacitor. Means if I change the distance between these two plates, then capacitor may change. If I'll change the area of the plates taken, then capacitance C may change. If I'll put some dielectric medium between the two plates, then capacitance changes. But with charge Q or electric field E or potential V, the capacitance of the capacitor will not change. And that's why here symbol is C only for this capacitor. its capacitance is not going to change. Now, if we'll make the subject V dash here, then we'll get V dash is equal to Q dash by C, and we'll put this value of V dash here. So we'll get this next step. Delta W is equal to this, which is value of V into delta Q dash. So this is the small work done. To find the total work done, what we'll do? We will integrate this small work done. So next is total work done is integration of this small work done. Now value of delta W is this from equation number 1. So we'll put the value of dW, and now capacitance is constant, so we have taken it out, and remained is Q dash delta Q dash. Limits are taken here from 0 to Q, initial limit to final limit. Why initial limit is 0? Because initially on these two plates there were 0 charge present, and after the completion of process the charge on the capacitor is Q, and that's why initial is 0 and final is Q. Now integration part. Integration of Q dash is Q dash square by 2. I have explained about this integration in 11th standard, so I hope you understood this. Now putting the limits, upper limit minus lower limit means once we will put this Q dash as Q, so it will be Q square by 2, and then we'll put lower limit, so minus, if we'll put 0 in place of this Q, then it will be 0 only, so remain only this. So finally we can write that the work done is Q square by 2C, and this work done gets stored in the form of potential energy of the capacitor. Next is about different forms of this potential energy. We obtained this form of potential energy which relates Q and C. But if there is given Q and V, then the potential energy is given by half of QV. Similarly, if C and V are given, then the potential energy will be half of CV square. Now the question arises, this formula is obtained by the process which is here, but how these two are obtained? So these two are obtained by using C is equal to Q by V. That means if I want the relation between Q and V, that is this relation, then I will put this C is equal to Q by V here. So if I put this C is equal to Q by V in place of this C, I'll get this equation. Students, sit with a rough notebook and a pen and try this. You will get this formula. Again, if I want this relation, half of CV square, then in this equation which is obtained earlier, what we will do? We will put C by C is equal to Q by V is already we know about the formula of capacitor. So what we want here, C and V. Already C is there, we don't need Q here. We want V in place of that Q. So we'll make the subject Q in this equation. So we'll get Q is equal to CV. So Q is equal to CV is placed here. And then after placing it and simplifying, you will get U is equal to half of CV square. Students, I hope you will able to do this. Now next topic is related to this only, that is energy density of a capacitor. We all know about the density, but which density we know? We know the density related to mass, and that is given by this type of relation. Density rho is equal to mass upon volume. So this is the density of mass, or we can say mass density. But here the density is about energy, and so in place of mass, if I put energy, then that will be energy density. So here the symbol used for energy density is small u, and so this energy density is energy stored in a capacitor upon its volume V dash. I have used this symbol V dash for the volume of a capacitor. It is because already symbol V is used for potential difference, so I cannot use this symbol for volume, so I have take it as V dash. So energy per unit volume is energy density. Now what is energy U? It is half of CV square. Just look at the earlier equation. So half of CV square upon what is volume? So volume means it is area of the plate into distance. If this is the area of the plate, and if this is the distance between them, then area into distance will give you the volume of the space between the two plates of a capacitor. So volume is equal to A into D. Now next, carefully see here. Already we have this equation now. Now U is equal to half. Which half? You can see here 1 by 2. So that as it is. Then what is C? So we know that C is equal to E naught A by D. We obtained that formula for a capacitor. For parallel plate capacitor, C is equal to epsilon naught A by D. So I have placed that only. Rest of the thing, that is V square as it is, A into D as it is. Now doing the simplification, we will get next step. How? A is cancel. Now here there is V square, and here D into D is D square. So that is taken out common. Square is taken out common. So in the bracket there is V by D. Rest of the things, that is half and epsilon naught as it is. Finally, we know that V is equal to ED, and so V by D will be equal to E. So in place of V by D, we are using E, and hence we got this formula for the energy density of a capacitor. Students, if you are not able to understand this process, I would request you or advise you to once again watch this video. Now, last example of this chapter, example number 2.10. This example is related to the energy stored in a capacitor. Now students, it is given in the statement that there is a capacitor which is connected with a battery of voltage V, and the voltage is given, voltage or the potential difference, and the capacitor, its capacitance is given, that is about 900 picofarad. So when the battery is connected to this capacitor, then what will happen? The charge will be stored, and due to that the electric field will be developed between the two plates of the capacitor, and so the energy is stored. So we want to find first that energy, and then in second part what we have to do, that we have to disconnect this battery, means remove this battery, and in place of that battery we have to connect another capacitor which is identical to this capacitor. Means even for this capacitor also the value of its capacitance is 900 picofarad. Now students, remember, when the battery is disconnected and this capacitor is connected with this capacitor, what will happen? The charge of this capacitor will flow and it will move to this capacitor also, until and unless the potential difference between these two capacitors becomes same. Means the charge will continue to flow till the potential between the two capacitors becomes equal. But here the thing is quite simple. Why it is simple? Because here this capacitor is taken identical to this, and that's why if the total charge initially is this much, then after connecting this second capacitor the charge will become half, means half of the charge will move to the second capacitor. But if the capacitor which is connected here is of different value, then we have to choose the concept of potential difference V. But here we are not going to use that concept. Now let us start for first figure, that battery is connected to this capacitor, battery of voltage V, its value is given, even value of capacitor is also given, so we can easily find the charge also as well as potential energy also. We have the formula for the potential energy if V is known and C is known to us. Which formula? U is equal to half of CV square. So we will use this formula and find the potential energy for first case. Half of CV square, value of C is 900 picofarad. So 900 and pico means 10 raised to minus 12, V is given 100, so 100 square. Students, here there is a printing mistake, make it square. Now if we will solve this, then we will get the potential energy U is equal to 4.5 into 10 raised to minus 6 joule. So our first part is completed. Now for second situation. For second situation, we will obtain first charge Q from that first figure. What is total charge Q in this situation? For figure A, so total charge can be obtained by using this formula of capacitor. C is equal to Q by V, and so Q is equal to CV. So we can get the total charge. So Q is equal to CV. Value of C is this, value of V is this, that is 100. After simplification and calculation, we can say that Q is equal to 9 into 10 raised to minus 8 coulomb. Let us give this number 1. Now after connecting second capacitor, what will happen? The charge becomes half. So what is a new charge on the capacitor? That is Q dash, but that is half of the initial charge that I have explained you. So half of this 9 into 10 raised to minus 8 coulomb is 4.5 into 10 raised to minus 8 coulomb. So now we can say that the charge on this capacitor is known to us. Value of capacitor is also known to us, and so we will use the formula for the potential energy. U is equal to half of Q square by C. We have obtained this formula also by that process of work done. So using this formula, we will get this energy stored in one capacitor. And why I have multiplied 2? Because there are two such capacitors of equal values and equal charge on them, and so the potential energy on both are equal. So we'll find the potential energy of first capacitor and then multiply it by 2. Next step is 2 as it is, and energy stored in terms of charge and capacitance is half of Q dash by C. Q dash is a new charge which is 4.5 into 10 raised to minus 8, and as there is a square here, so square is here also. Value of capacitance C is given to us, which never changes, it remains constant only. So after calculation, we will get this answer. Here these two and these two cancels out. So the energy stored in the capacitor, or I must say system of two capacitor, now is this much. Now students, here there is some printing mistake. The answer after calculating this will be 2.25 into 10 raised to minus 6. It is 2.25. So now if we'll compare the initial energy stored in the capacitor, you will find that this energy, that is 2.25, is half of that earlier energy, which is 4.5. So why this total energy after connecting second capacitor is reduced? Because we know that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. The total energy of the system remains constant. So here also the total energy should be equal to that initial energy only. But here some energy gets dissipated in the form of heat. Why? Because when this charge is moving to the other capacitor, in that process some of the energy is dissipated in the form of heat. It may be due to the changing electric field between the plates of a capacitor. It may be due to this connecting wires. The heat is generated due to this resistance of wire, whatever, but the energy gets dissipated. And so if we want to find how much energy is dissipated in the form of heat, then delta U is equal to initial energy before connecting that second capacitor and final energy, that is this, after connecting second capacitor. So you can find that difference. So energy loss can be obtained. So this is all about this chapter number 2. If any doubt is there, you are free to ask.